Hi, my name is Ashleigh Martin, and today I will be presenting my findings from the Servant Leadership Style Survey that was distributed to the Method 804 classmates. Before we dive into the findings, I wanted to talk a little bit about the survey. 5 open-ended questions were asked, with one question gauging the participants' familiarity with the servant leadership style. So that was question 1. Question 2 asked, have you experienced the servant leadership style from your managers or supervisors? Please provide specific examples. Question 3 asked participants if they exhibit the servant leadership style as a leader and if they could provide specific examples. Question 4 asked, from your perspective, how does servant leadership influence the relationship between leaders and their teams? Question 5 asked, in what ways has servant leadership impacted job satisfaction, employee retention, and overall productivity among workers in your organization? And then lastly, the last question gave 6 common characteristics of the servant leadership style and asked participants, in their opinion, out of those 6, which is the most important for a leader to possess and why. From the survey, 9 respondents responded to the questions, and there were 4 demographic questions asked: gender, age, industry they work in, and then relevant work experience. So here you can kind of see a visualization of the data. It shows that the participants were a very diverse group with 4 females, 5 males, a lot of participants in the 51 to 61 age range, a lot of participants in the education and business technology industries, and then several participants having 16 or more years of relevant work experience. And then this shows how familiar the participants were with the servant leadership style. Now that you have some background on the survey and the participants, now we can dive into the findings. Overall, there was a positive correlation between the servant leadership style and job satisfaction, productivity, professional development, employee engagement, employee retention, and organizational culture. In fact, all responses mentioned a positive impact on individuals and organizations. From the last question, 6 out of 9 participants identified authenticity as being the most critical attribute for a leader to possess. And similarly, these 6 noted the positive impact the style has on relationship between a leader and followers, and they mentioned that trust is built and bonds become stronger. Some more findings showed that 7 out of 9 respondents answered that they have experienced the servant leadership style from a manager or supervisor. Those same 7 mentioned that they exhibit the servant leadership style in their personal style, and the 2 that had not experienced the servant leadership style did not feel that they implemented it or it was not applicable to their role. So this could mean that those who have experienced the style are more likely to use its teachings as they have witnessed firsthand the positive impacts that style brings. Also, the 2 that had not experienced the servant leadership style were the only people to comment on potential challenges. And another important piece of information on those 2 participants is that one answered not familiar and one answered familiar when asked how familiar they were with the servant leadership style. While the challenges they did bring up were relevant, the skepticism of the style could be attributed to lack of familiarity or experience. To summarize all of the key findings from this survey, there were 5 identified, and that includes the positive correlation between the SLS and the outcomes. Authenticity was the most critical characteristic of SLS. The different experiences with the servant leadership style and its adoption, challenges and skepticism towards the style, and then it showed that there was a very vast demographic diversity in servant leadership style experiences. Thank you for taking the time to go over my findings from the servant leadership style in Method 804.